Okay, problem 63, a little tricky of a problem. Basically, you need to recognize that they're asking you for whether they've given you PQ is 12, let's label that, and they've also given you PS is the square root of 340. PS, let's get rid of this T because it's only confusing, PS is the square root of 340. And then it goes on to say, what is the measure of SQ? What you should recognize is that you've got a right triangle. You have a right triangle. This side of the right triangle is 12. And this side is the square root of 340. And they're asking you to solve that. Okay? Given that, you need to recognize that you need to use Pythagorean's theorem to solve it. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I want to touch on something before I go any further. I want you to realize that the square root of 340 squared is 340. It's a good thing to know. For example, what's the square root of 3 squared? That's cubed. What's the square root of 3 squared? Let me try that again. The square root of 3 squared is the same as the square root of 3 times the square root of 3. You're allowed to put both those things under the same radical sign and say that's a square root of 3 times 3, which is the same as the square root of 9, which is the same as 3. The point is that if you're taking something under the radical sign and squaring it, the answer is just that number that's under the radical sign. So the square root of 340 squared is 340. Let's go forward with this problem. We know one of the legs, or x squared, is the unknown. The other side is 12 squared, and we know that the hypotenuse is 340, but we have to square it. Working that through, x squared plus 144 equals 340. Let's subtract that 144 from each side. We do the math. X squared equals 196, and x equals 14. Because 14 times 14 is 196. So the correct answer for problem 63 is C, 14 inches.